In the quiet, unassuming town of Circleville, Ohio, life moved at a gentle, predictable pace. The cornfields swayed in the breeze, neighbors greeted each other by name, and the biggest news was often the high school football score. But on a calm morning in 1976, an invisible crack appeared in this idyllic facade. A single anonymous letter arrived, shattering the peace of a local school bus driver named Mary Gillespie. It was the first drop in what would become a flood of venom and paranoia, a mystery that would consume the town for nearly 2 decades. The letter was crude, typed with a heavy hand, and filled with accusations. It claimed to know secrets about Mary's personal life, threatening to expose them to the entire town, her family, and her employers, unless she stopped an alleged affair. The writer identified themselves only as a concerned resident, someone watching her every move. Mary, a respected member of the community, was horrified and confused. She dismissed it as a cruel, isolated prank. But then more letters started arriving, not just to her, but to her husband Ron, her children, and even her relatives. The letters were relentless, a constant barrage of threats and accusations. They were posted on signs along Mary's bus route, taunting her as she drove past. The writer seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once, their words seeping into every corner of the Gillespies' lives. The police were called in, but the writer was clever. There were no fingerprints, no witnesses, no clues to their identity. The threats grew more specific, more personal, turning from mere accusations to outright harassment. The town of Circleville, once a symbol of safety, now felt like a cage, with an unseen predator stalking its prey. Mary and her family tried to ignore the letters, to live their lives as normally as possible. But the poison had already taken root. Suspicion began to fester. Who could be doing this? A jealous neighbor? A disgruntled co-worker? A complete stranger with a twisted obsession? Everyone became a suspect. The fabric of the small town began to tear as paranoia replaced trust. The letters spoke of things only a close confidant would know, yet their tone was one of pure malice. Then the mystery took a dark and tragic turn. On a summer evening in 1977, Ron Gillespie received a phone call. The voice on the other end was the letter writer. After the call, Ron, enraged and determined to confront his tormentor, grabbed his firearm and stormed out of the house. He was found dead shortly after. His car crashed into a tree. The official ruling was an accident, but a firearm was found discharged at the scene. Had he been driven off the road? Did he confront the writer? The questions hung heavy in the air, unanswered. Even with Ron's death, the letters didn't stop. They continued to arrive, now mocking Mary for her husband's demise. The community was in shock. The investigation intensified, but the Circleville letter writer remained a ghost. Desperate for answers, Mary and her sister's husband, Paul Freshour, began their own investigation. They suspected someone they knew, someone close. Years passed. The letters kept coming. Finally, in 1983, Mary was driving her bus route when she saw a sign posted with another vulgar message about her daughter. Enraged, she stopped and tore it down. As she did, she noticed a booby trap, a string connected to a box holding a firearm, aimed right at the sign. The trap was crude, but deadly. The police examined the device and, through forensic analysis, traced the firearm back to one man, Paul Freshour, Mary's own brother-in-law. The case seemed closed. Paul was arrested, tried and convicted of attempted murder, largely based on the booby trap and handwriting analysis that experts claimed matched his to the letters. He was sentenced to prison, protesting his innocence all the while. The town of Circleville breathed a sigh of relief. The monster had been caught. But here is where the story twists again into something even more unsettling. While Paul Freshour was behind bars in a maximum security prison, the letters started again. They were sent to Mary, to local newspapers, and even to the television show Unsolved Mysteries, which had covered the case. The letters taunted the authorities, claiming they had locked up the wrong man. Some were even postmarked from Columbus, Ohio, near the prison where Paul was incarcerated. How was this possible? Was he orchestrating it from the inside, with an accomplice? Or had the real Circleville letter writer never been caught at all? Paul Freshour served his time and was released, maintaining his innocence until his death. The letters eventually stopped, fading away as mysteriously as they had begun. To this day, the true identity of the Circleville letter writer remains one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries. Was it one person or many? Was Paul Freshour a victim or a mastermind? The questions linger, a haunting reminder that sometimes the deepest secrets and the darkest threats can come from the places we least expect, leaving behind a legacy of fear that never truly disappears. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more dives into the unknown. Stay curious and stay safe.